Hello and welcome to this presentation on basic education in Canada. In this presentation, I will briefly introduce Canada, also include the objectives and the purposes of Canada's education, and what the practices in their basic education. We will talk about how the government supports their education system, also how they respond to their current demand. Canada has about 36 million people. From the land, it is the second largest country in the world, and we speak English and French. Our largest city is Toronto. Canada is divided by 10 provinces and 3 territories, and my province is Manitoba. Canada has 3 common values when it comes to education. Equality of access means everyone should have same opportunity and accessibilities to receive basic education. The second is uniformity of education, which means that independent where you live, you will have the same education resources as anybody else. Third common value is cultural pluralism, which means your education will not be affected by race, gender, age, and your health conditions. Canada education objectives are the products of the values we mentioned earlier. Those objectives can be summarized in 4 areas. Cultivation in the sense of farming gives us a good idea of what that means. It is preparing the ground so that something can grow. In this sense, is creating an environment for a person to develop. Vocational preparation is the objective to prepare real-life work. Moral and civic development is to make just and law-abiding citizens. And individual development also individual development is the 4th major goals for schooling in Canada. Education program is generally divided into primary education, followed by secondary education, and the last is post-secondary. In post-secondary, it is include its university or college. The government recognized that they can meet their objectives without adjusting to the changing world. That's why in the last 25 years, they have done major changes. They have reorganized and restructured the whole school system. They entirely reformed the funding of education and they renewed the curriculum. A much greater emphasis is putting on early childhood education. A major change was the improvement of communication technologies at all levels. This is something that is still in the working because now new technology is requiring higher internet speeds, which the government is committed to upgrade. Another thing that the educational system has worked on is improving the transition to the job market. In Canada, there is no federal department of education and also no integrated national system of education. Exclusive legislative responsibility for education is granted to the provinces in Canada's Constitution Act 1867. Overall, Canada is doing very good to keep up with the cultural and technological changes. However, there is one specific area the government is still struggling to make improvements, and that is with the First Nation people. In 2019, 2 years ago, there was a huge gap in high school graduation rates, and there was only about 44% of First Nations on receives have completed high school, compared to the 88% for other Canadians. Significant infrastructure is needed for school construction, repair and maintenance on services. But with those challenges, the government is making improvement. So the government is making improvement to that situation. The 2019 budget included an investment of $824 million over the span of 10 years to support the First Nation to their post-secondary education. Those are the things the government are doing to support to their basic education. They are building more schools. They are increasing fundings. They are making curricula to accommodate different cultures. They are trying their best to make their graduation rates higher. They are giving First Nations control of their own education. They are improving access to post-secondary educations. But in the last, I believe, Canada's education will be greater with God's blessing. Thank you.